You're on.
Hi, late night from Willowdale. Late night from Willowdale on a beautiful Sunday afternoon on the Thanksgiving weekend. And Cleve and I, we did a video on Monday night after the debate. Cleve and I thought we'd just we were watching the Sunday morning news programs, and it's advance poll. It's the weekend of the advance polls opened up this weekend, so we were talking about the importance of voting. So I just thought I'd do a quick video about that and also address what's going on in northeast Syria. I think it's really important for people to exercise their civic duty and go out and vote. Voting is voluntary, which I think it should always be voluntary. But I think in a country like Canada, where you have so many options, that there's got to be some party out there that you're comfortable voting for. Cleve and I voted on Friday. I voted for the Green Party. Cleve voted for the Liberals. I live here in St. Paul's. Cleve lives in Davenport. It's Davenport, right, Cleve?
Mm-hmm.
So, so I voted on Friday. I always like to vote on the first day of the advance poll. Hey, just to get it over with, do my civic duty, and I'm done. So, and Cleve voted as well, so we're done. And it was great. I always feel good when I vote. And there was a small lineup. But people, you could tell, were happy to vote, and a lot of people said, just exercising exercising my franchise in a democratic society. And the world is becoming less democratic, as we know. So and a lot of people don't have access to voting, and a lot of countries, particularly the United States, don't have the number of parties that Canada has. You have a lot of options out there, and you should go out and vote. That's all I say. And who you vote for isn't, that's your private vote. And just get out and vote. Like, there are a lot of options. Okay, so you got the Greens, you got the NDP, the Liberals, the Conservatives, the People's Party, if you want to go that way, and the Green. And did I miss one? Oh, and of course in Quebec you have the Bloc. So we don't know what's going to happen with this election. It's going to be interesting. Most people predict now minority government for the Liberals or the Conservatives. I think it's leaning more towards the Liberals, but we'll see. The NDP will not be decimated. That was the fear in the beginning of the campaign, that they were going to be decimated. But Jagmeet has run a great campaign, as everyone says, and he did good in all the debates. So the NDP will probably hold its own, but we'll probably lose some seats because the Bloc in Quebec is surging. So the Bloc will win seats at the NDP's expense, and at the Liberals' expense, and at the Conservatives' expense. And the Greens really never were a big presence in Quebec. I knew they had hoped to make gains, but the surging Bloc will change the dynamic in Quebec, and it will certainly hurt the NDP, the Liberals, and the Conservatives. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting on election night. So, I'm not going to say. Predictions are what are predictions? Sometimes predictions are predictions, right? And sometimes they don't turn out. So, I'm not going to ramble here, because we did another video because I rambled, so we did this over again. So yeah, just get out and vote. Strategic voting, whatever. I think you should just vote what you're comfortable with. I've never liked the idea of strategic voting. And a lot of people said to me, "Oh, Andrew, you voted Green. That was a wasted vote." It's never a wasted vote. It's my vote. It's not a wasted vote. It's my vote. So, and I don't believe in strategic voting. I mean, if you want to strategically vote, that's fine. It's your option. But I do always believe people should vote for the party or the person they're comfortable with. And if there was a Conservative candidate that I liked in my riding that was intelligent, and I thought they were good and they'd be a good representative in Parliament, I would vote for them. So, but yeah. Anyways, I just think you should vote who you're comfortable with, and like I said, I voted Green. And Cleve voted Liberal, and we voted, and that's done. And I've rambled on. Sorry about that. But you have lots of options in Canada, so there's no reason not to vote. Okay, turning to Syria, what's going on in Cleve? Is that lighting okay still?
It's good. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. It looks like it's late evening, but it's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So Sunday night, Trump announced a week ago, basically, that he was pulling out troops out of Syria, and today was announced that they're pulling back big time. They're going to get all those 1,000 troops out because they're worried they're going to get caught in a crossfire which they started by giving Turkey the green light to invade northeast Syria and take out the Kurds. It's I gotta make okay. Let's look at the area we're talking about here. This is the area. There's Iran. There's Syria. There's Iraq. There's Turkey. The Kurds are centered in this whole area here. This is the area right now where we're talking about. And yeah, the Kurds have been betrayed once again. Okay, the Kurds. The history of the Kurds being betrayed is just, it's very sad, and it's happened way too often. And once again, they've been betrayed. They've been betrayed, particularly by the United States. And this is an area of northeast Syria was stable. Okay, this was the one area of Syria that was stable. I guess, in and around Damascus was stable, but this was a big swath of territory that was stable. The Kurds, along with the help of the Americans and Western allies, including the Kenyans, had set up an infrastructure there, schools, basic infrastructure. Women had rights, and the Kurds were setting up basically a mini state in northeast Syria, and there's nothing wrong with that. This is part of the world where they've lived for hundreds and hundreds of years, if not more, and they helped in the fight ISIS, which hasn't totally been defeated, and now probably will be resurrected with this Turkish attack on the Kurds. The Kurds were a great fighting force. The United States has betrayed them in big time, and now the Turks are opening up a slaughter. They're attacking. They have crossed the border. They're attacking the Kurds in northeast Syria. How far they go? Erdogan's wanted to do this for a long time, and so have past Turkish governments to basically go after the Kurds. It's irrational. I don't know why the Turks and the Kurds could never have reached some sort of accommodation. I do believe in a Kurdish state, and in that area, on that map that I just showed you. And so I agree with Trump's campaign promise of getting out of endless wars. Yeah, the United States can't always be the world's policeman. But in this situation in Syria, the U.S. forces, the minimal U.S. forces were there, along with the Kurds, to set up a stable area. And it was working. And now it's gone to hell in a handbasket. The Russians might get more involved, and the Iranians, and the Turks, obviously. It's a mess. So the solution would have been, again, to really start working at a diplomatic solution for this whole mess. And I know it was tried, but it's not been tried enough. I mean, there's a way out of this mess, and it's complex, but there's a way out. And the Kurds definitely deserve their own state. A Kurdish state in that area would stabilize the whole area. And even if it had to be carved out of a bit of Turkey and a bit of Iran, and of course, obviously, northern Iraq, where they basically have autonomy, and now that part of northeast Syria, yeah, it would work. I think it would be a stabilizing force. Of course, the Turks and the Iranians wouldn't go along with it. But it's a mess. I do believe in getting out of endless wars. I do believe Trump is right on getting out of Afghanistan. You've got to have a negotiated settlement with the Taliban. It's going to be messy no matter how it ends. But I do think you should bring in other players. I always thought the Iranians, the Russians, the Pakistanis, and the Indians should have been involved. I would have said the Chinese, but the Chinese are involved in crushing their own Muslim minority in northwest China, the Uyghurs. The Chinese have no credibility on issues like this. So, but yeah, I've rambled. I don't want to ramble anymore. So, the U.S. made a mistake here, and I don't believe in the U.S. being the policeman. The U.S. needs to withdraw from these wars, but they got to manage it in a way. And Trump just took an order from Erdogan. He gave Erdogan the green light to smash the Kurds, and it's horrible. And we're seeing what's happening now. And And the weird thing is, Trump is sending more troops to Saudi Arabia, 1,800 troops, which are not needed. Why he's doing that, I don't know. To teach the Iranian, to show the Iranians, teach them a lesson. I think, this is crazy. It makes no sense. He's getting out of Syria, where they were valuable and doing a good job, and he's putting them in Saudi Arabia, which is useless. Why? And why keep popping up Saudi Arabia? Can't Saudi Arabia fight its own battles? I mean, they got lots of money. They got lots of weaponry from the United States. Does the U.S. have to be the mercenary, the mercenary for Saudi Arabia? It's crazy. I'm glad the Saudis are beginning to talk to the Iranians. That looks like it's happening. I'm glad they're talking to the Houthis now in Yemen. We need to start solving all these problems. And unfortunately, there's lack of American leadership, okay? Trump has a campaign slogan, get out of all these wars. He doesn't seem to want to, he's not managing it well. And I do think getting out of Afghanistan yes, I do think they should. It will be messy. It won't be a pleasant situation, but yeah, it's not the U.S. job to be the cop. And the countries have to figure, of these countries have to figure it out for themselves. And the regional countries have to get involved. And, but I thought this situation in northeast Syria was stable. It was working. It probably wasn't a permanent solution, but it's just horrible what's gone on there. There's so much more to say on this. And I know the map of the Middle East is being withdrawn. Syria will never be a contiguous country again. Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall, and Syria will never be put back together again. That's sort of how it works, right?
That's roughly, yes.
Roughly. Okay, I've rambled on. We're running out of battery power, and there's more to talk about. But yeah, what's happening with the Kurds is just horrible, and maybe they'll have some strength to fight back. I don't know. Maybe the Russians will be an asset here, but what Turkey is doing is horrible, and the Kurds deserve better. Okay, so on Wednesday night at Indigo, I'm going to go see, Clea and I are going to go see Samantha Power. Talk about smart people in the American government. This is a great book. She's written a number, this is a Education of an Idealist. It's a memoir by Samantha Power. She was Obama's ambassador to the United Nations in the second term. A very smart woman. Knows a lot about foreign policy. And this is a great book. Worth buying. Clea and I are going to go see her speak at Indigo on Wednesday night.
The Education of an Idealist.
The Education of an Idealist. And yeah, look forward to that. That's the Indigo at Manulife Center. And yeah, I just thought I'd promote that book because she's very smart, and you need more people like her in the U.S. government. Obama had some smart people around him, and of course with Trump there's none. What a contrast. With Trump there's none. I saw Susan Rice today on one of the news programs, former national security advisor, also very smart. But Samantha Power, very smart. And we need more people like her in the U.S. government. Unfortunately, Trump has no smart people. She was the Obama's ambassador to the United Nations for the second term, and yeah, so we'll go see her on Wednesday night. And that's it. And go out and vote, okay? Go out and vote. You still have a day and a half in the advance poll, and then election day is a week tomorrow. Mm-hmm.